Hello there, guys. Come on in, type in freedom now. We're going to have our Monday live Q&A show. Be sure to share this video with those who are in your world. And I just want to also open up by thanking you guys for subscribing to this channel. Thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for telling people about us at McBean Law, what we do for people all across the globe. We're doing some amazing work, changing lives and helping folks to get that freedom that they so deserve, that immigration freedom. So thank you so much for being a strong supporter. Type in freedom now as you're coming on today's broadcast. I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer in New York, working with clients nationwide at McBean Law, where we believe in freedom, immigration freedom, that is. You may contact us at 914-898-9488 or at email us. It's fine to email us your inquiry about a consultation. We can be reached at info@mcbeanlaw.com. Come on in, friends. It's so great to see you guys. Hey there, Drew. Thank you for being here today. And as you're coming in and typing in freedom now, friends, tell me where you're joining from, just to refresh my memory for those of you who have been with me for a long time, where you're joining from today. It's good to see you. Hey there, Theo. Thank you. Thank you. This session, friends, is being moderated, of course, and I'm asking that you do not spam. Okay, please do not spam us because we would have to place you in timeout, and we don't want to have to do that. Okay. Hey there, May. Thank you so much for being here. Freedom now, freedom now. Let us know your city and or country where you're located. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have some good news to share with you in today's show. As a matter of fact, the entire show is going to be all about good news. And so I'm going to share momentarily what's going on the litigation side, because there's a fight going on, friends. Fight for due process, the rule of law, and all of that. And there are some significant wins that I'd like to share with you guys. Hey there, Brandy. Thank you for joining. I see that Florida is in the house. Bonita Springs, Florida. New York is in the house, of course. Let me know, guys, where you're joining from. Hey there, Cowboy KJ. Thank you. Thank you. New York, Virginia, Nelly, good to see you. All right, friends, we're going to go ahead and talk about, let's get this, Nelly, we're going to get you off the screen. We're going to go into some immigration news. And before that, I just want to remind you, friends, I'd like to remind you that's not facing properly. Please switch it around. The camera is not facing me. I'd like to remind you guys that your good news matters to me. Okay. It really, really matters. And I'm asking that you share your good news testimonials of any victory that you've had recently with immigration, or maybe it's your spouse or your friend or someone who is in your world. They have a work permit, they're a US citizen, they have a green card, they have a visa. Whatever the story is, guys, share it, because I would love to share it with everyone, okay, to encourage you. All right, so now with that being said, I'm going to go into your new immigration. All right, first things first. This is good news number one. Good news number one, judge blocks expedited deportations of those who enter the United States legally, okay, possibly curtailing ICE courthouse arrests. Um, Friends, this is really good news. And I know that for some of you, you might be saying, well, a lot of the good news is short-lived, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen with respect to the litigation. And that is true. That's a valid point. But as we're going through the litigation process, guys, for fighting for due process rights, it's very important to celebrate the wins along the way. And this is a big one, and this is out of the District of Columbia. The federal judge Cobb, ruled on August 1st against the Trump administration's attempt to use expedited removal to deport individuals who enter the United States legally, okay, with an L, legally, on humanitarian parole, which impacts hundreds of thousands of people. And just to refresh your memory, go back to January, February, March, where a lot of developments happened at the beginning of the year by the Trump administration to, number one, cancel these parole opportunities for individuals to come to the United States. These were the Biden categorical parole programs. They were temporary. They are temporary. So they did that. And then along those lines, they then issued memo after memo, which said something to the effect that these individuals who came in under the Biden parole, one of these programs, would face expedited removal. We could arrest them, we could cut short their due process and arrest them. And we've been seeing the arrests occur at some places, courthouses, immigration courthouses across the country. And friends, it's been a nightmare to watch those videos, right? To see what's really taken place. And so the judge temporarily has blocked the administration from moving forward with cut in short due process for these individuals who entered the country legally under one of these parole programs, and putting them under this expedited removal category, so to speak, to get them out of the United States very quickly. The administration cannot apply expedited removal to migrants who were lawfully paroled into the United States at ports of entry. The judge called the Trump era directives unlawful and said they raise fundamental concerns about fair play and due process. The ruling blocks ICE from targeting parolees immediately after their immigration court hearings, a practice widely criticized for causing fear and emotional harm. Now, who will most likely be impacted by this? Well, it's the Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans, about 500,000 of those individuals who were admitted under the Biden humanitarian parole sponsorship program. And then there's nearly 1 million migrants who were paroled under the CBP-1 app at the southern border. And this really matters, guys. This ruling really matters because it stops ICE from ambushing folks at courthouses and deporting them without due process. Now, I'll just back up a little bit. The ruling, because I'm pretty sure we're still going to see ICE at the courthouses, okay, making these arrests. But what this ruling really does is it stops them from placing them under this expedited removal category during this time of the litigation. The Department of Justice is expected to appeal the ruling, but for now, parolees are protected from this type of deportation, and folks should stay informed. And remember that if you do not appear at an immigration court hearing, the judge is going to issue a removal order in your absence. So speak with a lawyer before you make the decision not to show up, so that you could understand the implications for that decision, and also to see if there's a way that you can have a web-based or an internet-based hearing, or you can do pleadings, written pleadings, without having to go to court if you're just at the pleadings stage. So there are things that can be done, but work with an immigration attorney on the strategy. So this is huge. It's a preliminary injunction stopping the federal government from enforcing the Trump administration's policy while the lawsuit continues. So that's good news. Guys, type in good news. Type in good news. Let's get interactive. Just say good news, good news, good news, good news. And now let's get into the second good news. And it has to do with TPS, temporary protected status. And this is out of the Guardian. Judge rules against Trump administration and extends deportation protection for 60,000 immigrants. On August 1st, Judge Thompson, I should say, of the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California ruled against the Trump administration's attempt to end TPS for over 60,000 immigrants from Nepal, Honduras, and Nicaragua, allowing them to stay in the United States legally while the case proceeds. And guys, you know that the administration is moving very swiftly to end TPS for many countries, and some countries, they've already announced the end of TPS for various countries, and those end dates are approaching very soon. So work with an immigration lawyer to see how you can potentially transition to a permanent lawful status. The Trump administration terminated TPS. Here's what the judge ruled, that the Trump administration terminated TPS without an objective review of dangerous conditions in those countries. The court found the decision by the Trump administration, the decision lacked lawful justification and was influenced by racial bias and discriminatory intent. I wanted to say something else, but I won't. I just remembered where I am. Deportation protections will remain in place for the plaintiffs with no new expiration date pending further hearings. And the next court hearing is scheduled for November 18th. And guys, this decision, again, it's another preliminary injunction which stopped the Trump administration from moving forward with terminating TPS for those countries in the way that it has done. This is good news that need to be celebrated. So type in good news, good news, good news. Now let's move on to the third one. The third good news has to do with what's going on in California and the fact that there's been a lot of due process violations. We see ICE making these discriminatory stop and arrest without any form of reasonable suspicion. And a lower court there in California, in the Los Angeles area, had put in place a temporary stop or block to that. And the Trump administration appealed that decision. It went to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. And on August 2nd, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals refused to block or remove the temporary restraining order that's in place that limits ICE's authority to detain people based solely on race or ethnicity, speaking Spanish or having an accent, being at a bus stop or a day labor site or a similar location where they know that immigrants typically spend time at. And they can't just stop and detain people based on the type of job that they have, like working at a car wash, right? Or as a day laborer. So just to kind of back it up a little bit so that you understand the backstory, the case began after immigrants and U.S. citizens were detained or aggressively questioned without valid cause in Los Angeles. The plaintiffs in this case include day laborers and 2 U.S. citizens who were harassed despite showing proof of citizenship. And organizations like United Farm Workers also joined the lawsuit. This matters, friends, because the ruling affirms that ICE cannot use stereotypes or generalized profiles to justify their arrest of individuals, and it sends a very strong message that racial profiling is still unconstitutional. It's unconstitutional, even during immigration enforcement activities. ICE must the temporary restraining order requires that ICE must have reasonable suspicion that a person has violated immigration law before they detain them. And again, agents cannot rely solely on language, race, or ethnicity, location, and type of employment to form their judgment. And this case has nationwide, I think, implications because we're all watching to see how this is going to play out in Los Angeles because certainly New York is here waiting, right? Major blitz have not really touched New York in the way that it has touched California, Los Angeles, and places like Texas and Florida. But I think that it's coming here to New York, at some point, and certainly Chicago and other big cities. So we're all watching to see how this will all play out. Guys, as you're coming on board, again, type in Freedom Now. Let us know what city and state you're in. And also type in good news. If you felt good about what you were hearing, there's progress happening. And we're celebrating these small wins. So with that being said, I'm going to go right into the Q&As to find out what questions you have for me today. All right, so now let's jump into the comments and let's go to the first question from Benjamin. Benjamin says, are immigration cases moving faster now? And Benjamin, my answer to that is yes. It depends on the type of case, but yes, to marriage-based or family-based cases here in the United States, particularly immediate relative violence, we are seeing much faster processing times under the Trump administration, and also naturalization cases. I have been certainly talking about it. Other lawyers are talking about it as well on social media. You talk about it too in your comments when you share your good news stories. It really is happening. And the new director of USCIS, Edlo, right? Who they recently put in place, and he has a lot of experience at USCIS. He is all about efficiency and new systems and processing times and just making things happen faster. Now, of course, my argument with that is that I still have concerns about him because of the pressure, the policy pressure to make immigration harder. I think obviously he's going to continue to follow along those lines. But as far as efficiency is concerned, he is really big on efficiency. So I expect things to continue to move faster. And I didn't before. I thought certainly with immigration cases under Trump, things would have slowed down, but we haven't seen that happen yet. All right. Okay, so Ella, I'm going to go into your question. I saw a comment this weekend from one of you. I don't know if it was you, Ella. It might have been you. You had asked me to touch on this. I'm going to do a longer video when I find the time to do it for you. But Ella is asking the question about a recent USCIS alert that was published on Friday that said that there are various updates to the policy manual. And I took a look at some of it this weekend. Ella is asking specifically about those who have overstayed and they are beneficiaries of an I-130, meaning a relative has filed an I-130 petition for them. Her question is, will those individuals be placed in removal proceedings according to the new USCIS memo? And so the answer is no, they will not just place you in removal after filing an I-130 petition. What I believe they're doing is they're putting everyone on notice and reminding you that although you filed an I-130 petition, it does not afford you the protection of, it doesn't protect you from removal, which obviously we all knew. And they're saying that you should know that, we know about you. We know that you're here without status once you file a case, which is inherent in the whole filing process. I think to some extent it's a tactic to bring some level of fear and intimidation because millions of applications are processed each year by that agency, and most people have their cases approved. They have a very strong track record of approving cases. So they will continue to do their work, but they're just trying to, I think, stoke some more fear in folks. What they have said, and we've talked about before, is the fact that if your case is denied, they will place you in removal proceedings. They're really emphasizing that now. And then there were some other changes in their policy manual about interviews and some other things, but I'll have to cover that, do a deeper dive at another time, okay? So Don't be afraid to file your I-130 if you're eligible through your relative, but just make sure that it's done properly and that there is really a way forward for you for a green card. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Freedom Now. Someone says, why does one receive the I-485 before the I-130? I'm not sure what you mean by receive. Are you talking about an approval? Normally, the approval of the I-130 would happen faster, Laura. You may want to ask that question again. I saw the news about TPS for Haiti. Is it still for February? Yes, February 2026 is the new end date for TPS it's the end date for TPS for Haiti. Okay. I'm smiling because I saw a comment here from Usman. Thank you very much, Usman. Paco from Senegal. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for putting a smile on my face. So TPS for Haiti, unfortunately, is coming to an end. Yes, litigation is still ongoing, and there's a big fight happening, and I'll keep you guys posted on any major changes. But for now, it's slated for February of 2026 and not September, I think, was the earlier date that they were really, I'm sorry, August was the earlier date that they were pushing for. Today, I think it would have been August 4th, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, let's see. About DACA, by the way, I did a video today about really a story that you guys aren't going to like. I hated that story. I hated to have to do the video about it involving the DACA holder who mistakenly, with his Uber, he's an Uber driver and he was trying to drop someone off, I think, and he found himself missing an exit due to some police activity and some other things. And he ended up in Mexico and couldn't get out of the, these various checkpoints. And now he's detained. And DHS is making all sorts of absurd arguments about him having self-deported and he cannot come back to the US. So DACA right now is under attack, I think. I think the Trump administration is definitely moving towards ending DACA based on stories like the one I'm sharing now. It just seems to me that they are not going to follow through on the campaign promise, so to speak, by Trump, which said that he'd like to see something done with DACA holders by working with Democrats on Capitol Hill. I have not heard anything like that happening. And with this, what they're doing today, as a matter of fact, with stories like the one I've just shared with you, they're showing that they're really going to push strong, I think, to end DACA. All right. I don't have any other news related to DACA at this time. I know there's litigation also to force uscis. I'm sorry, that's right. It just came to mind that there's a number of lawyers got together and they filed a lawsuit to force uscis to adjudicate on the DACA applications that are pending, because as you guys recall, the DHS is actually supposed to be moving forward on pending DACA applications for new applicants, initial filers, based on some happenings with the litigation, but they just have not done anything. So there's a lawsuit along those lines that was recently filed, I think about a week ago. So I'm tracking that as well. Okay. Thank you for the vote of confidence, Tunji. I appreciate it. Let's go down a little bit. Someone says that I'm in Florida. Is there any danger in filing the waiver, the I-601A at this time? I don't see it. I don't see the danger. As a matter of fact, because this waiver is still available today, I think that it's something that folks should file, because we don't know if they're going to try to get rid of that one. Okay. It hasn't always been around. Don't take these things for granted, because they have certain things have not, or opportunities or loopholes, so to speak, have not always been around. Thank you. Someone says, Leonardo says that I applied for adjustment of status on June 27th through my son. My case is ready for a decision, and I had my interview waived. How long before I get my case approved? It could be very soon. Like I said, they are moving very quickly on adjustment of status cases. A lot of the marriage cases, parent cases, I think you should be moving fast as well. I'm trying to recall what I've seen happen here on our side. I did a video earlier today sharing some of our success with these fast approvals that we've gotten this year from the Trump administration. It's hard for me to know, Leonardo, when specifically you're going to get that approval, but I think your case is moving fast. Could be very soon, could be by September. Let us know. Keep us posted on that good news, please. Freedom now, freedom now. Someone says that my priority date is June 2009. F4 category, how long do I have to wait? Check the visa bulletin. I don't know what they're up to at this point, in this moment, without having checked it myself. So you could just check the visa bulletin for August. But if your priority date is current, you will hear from them right away. Sometimes they like to notify people several months in advance so that they could start the visa center process. Thank you. They could start the visa application process early. That's how they normally work. Thank you. I'm going down. Guys, don't forget to add your good news stories. We're monitoring, and we'd love to be able to share your good news stories. So testify in the chat below. Testify about something good that has happened that to you or someone who you know with immigration. And also, if your case was approved fast, let us know that as well. We'd love to know. Okay, someone has said, I have an important question. What happens if your sponsor dies before the case was approved? If it happens that way, then reinstating your case won't work, humanitarian reinstatement, unless the question is, well, who is the sponsor or the petitioner? If it's a spouse, that's the petitioner, U.S. citizen spouse who passes, then you can convert that case into a widow or widower filing. But everyone else would need to do a humanitarian reinstatement process if available, and that I-130 would have needed to be approved before that person passed away. We shared a terrific story yesterday in our Good News Sunday story newsletter about a humanitarian reinstatement case. A client who tried to do humanitarian reinstatement and waited, and the case was denied, and then came to us, and we worked on it. And was it 14 years? Our success story from Sunday, was it after 14 years after the petitioner's death? We were able to get that case reinstated, and the I-130 was reaffirmed, and it's on track now, which is so amazing. So I'm really proud of the good work that our team was able to accomplish for our client. That good news story will be available on our website maybe by tomorrow. It's 14, yes, 14 years. Thank you. So read that or go check your email. If you have not yet subscribed to our newsletter, subscribe at McBeanlaw.com/subscribe so that you're in the loop with everything that we share. Good news, good news. Okay, great. Let's see. Let's see. And right in here is to read our success stories. Also go over to McBeanlaw.com/success. I came to the U.S. with a visa. However, I've overstayed before getting my green card. I'm now a U.S. citizen. Is it okay for me to travel? Lurleen is asking. Lurleen, it's fine for you to travel, provided that you don't have a very serious criminal record that occurred at a that the government did not know about when you were going through maybe one of your application processes. But U.S. citizens are safe and you can travel, okay? Because they are not going to drill down and they're not targeting U.S. citizens. Even if you do have a criminal record, they're not targeting you. They're targeting people like green card holders with a criminal record. So let me be clear about that. And certainly other non-citizens with a criminal record. Okay, those are the individuals who they're really looking for when they travel. Thank you. Let's see something. I recently lost my wife due to cancer. I'm really sorry to hear that. We were married for 11 years. Can I proceed with anything? Well, I would want to know 11 years of marriage. Was your wife a U.S. citizen before she passed? Did you guys try to file years prior and it didn't work out? I would want to unpack a little bit of the history there to know, to be able to advise you accordingly. And then when did your wife pass away? Because if you are eligible potentially for the widower process, which is a self-petition process to a green card, your spouse, you could only do that process if it's up to 2 years since the death of your spouse. So meet with us if you'd like to, so that we could unpack a little bit of the information there to see whether there's a way forward. But my very first question, if you were to sit down with me in a consultation, will be, why didn't you guys file before, after 11 years of marriage? And certainly, what was your wife's status at the time of her passing? Okay, thank you. Let's see. I have Sidge. Hold on a second. Have Sidge. Can I marry a U.S. citizen and use deemed parole argument to adjustment of status with marriage, EWI, and okay, so what I would be curious about is if you really have Sidge, why don't you take it all the way to the end to adjustment of status? That's what I would want to know. That would be the very first question I would want to know. Why don't you go all the way with Sidge? Is it okay to travel at this time in state while my green card is pending in state? Yes, it's fine to travel within your state with a green card application pending, and also even around the United States. That should be fine. Guys, I have a really nice TikTok video to share with you about family reunification. Many of you know that when you come to the United States, you're separated from your family back home for some people 10 years, 15 years. Your children are growing up in your home country without you, or your parents are getting older and you're just not there, and you know how painful and difficult it can be. And so we found this really heartwarming story about family reunification that just really melted my heart, and I hope that it will do the same for you guys.
Oh God, I use I don't dress well.
Okay, mommy, turn to your left. That is why your name, Olua, is forevermore. You have been faithful, Lord. Yeah. From the ages past, Oh, that is why your name, Odogumbeze, is forevermore. No dear,
My baby.
Okay. All right. That's funny. She was so excited, right? I mean, who wouldn't be after so many years after so many years of separation? So amazing. I love that story. And speaking of love and stories, we're going to go right into your good news that you've shared with us recently. All right, the first one is from Shirley, and Shirley says that my friend just got approved for her citizenship. Yay! Carlotta says I got my green card in 5 months. Okay, guys, 5 months. This is moving fast. Rose says that good news, after 20 months of waiting, my I-751 was finally approved and I got my 10-year green card. Removal of conditions, guys, a tough process, but Rose was able to get it done. And then Dystopia says, I passed my citizenship interview, took my oath the same day. It was really quick and no problems. It went super well. Everyone was super nice. My appointment was after lunch, and the group that I was with was a big group. About 50 of us got their citizenship that day. That's awesome. That's awesome, guys. These stories show that the system works, and USCIS is still processing cases, and they are moving very swiftly with these cases. So thank you so much. Type in your good news stories below so that we can share them with the rest of the world. Guys, we're gonna wrap up now. We're going to end today, and you'll see some content from me this week about a lot of different news. We just decided to keep it a little shorter in this one today, and I've done some lengthier videos for you already, filmed, and they're being edited. So stay plugged in on Instagram at McBean Immigration Law, and TikTok and Facebook, so that you'll get these videos as we roll them out for you this week. Thanks so much for being with me today, guys. It was a fun show with you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.